And we are back with Split Screen Experience episode 18. 18 more than we thought we'd ever do. I'm Andrew, joined as always by my talented co host.
Once again, I've always been Harmon, and I'll continue to be here. Joined alongside our guest. Well, not really a guest anymore, because he's been here so much.
It is I, Jarrett. I have returned once again to impart my wisdom.
Or some know him, J Money.
No one calls him that. No one calls him that.
The people beyond the veil call him that.
So now we're a couple weeks in the X Defiant. Instead of our initial thoughts, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever we talked about it. Are your thoughts still the same, different, worse, better?
It's a pain in my ass.
Heard it's different for you. Like you said, you didn't have internet to play Call of Duties before. Like, you don't have the muscle memory.
It is a very painful process, and hopefully I can get acclimated to it again. I had a brief thing going there for I think it was either Cold War or Modern Warfare when the new ones came out, and then it immediately went away when COD started going bad again.
Is that it's not a COD killer
Mm-mm.
because you can't kill COD.
No.
As Skippy said last week, there's always going to be those people that still play Call of Duty, no matter how bad it is. But something I saw in a video, a TikTok video recently, I forget who posted it, but this guy was like, you know why it was the golden era from like 2007 to 2014 for Call of Duty? Because they had competition. They knew if they didn't produce a good game that people were going to go play Gears of War, Battlefield, Halo, and I completely agree. Because from there we saw Modern Warfare 2 and 3, some great games. Black Ops 1, 2, and 3, all great games.
Goated. Absolutely goated trilogy there.
Call of Duty just doesn't have the competition it used to, so they've kind of felt like that they can be a bit lax with their games.
Yeah, and I think most people who buy it now, it's just habitual, you know?
People that save their 60, $70 to buy their yearly COD release.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the new one's out. I guess I'll pick it up because I've played each one since whatever game they started with. I think that's literally most people in the COD like market is probably just people who go, I've been playing since World at War. I've been playing since COD 4. Therefore, I will buy the next one even if it's not good.
It's especially like after a time like we had, it was like what is it? There's like that time period where like Ghost came out, then Advanced Warfare came out, and like while Advanced Warfare is not like the best thing that ever happened, like I still thought it was a decent game. Like building off of Ghost, I always have a soft spot in my heart for Ghost because I really enjoyed the campaign a lot, and that was a lot. That was like wow, I've never. That's a different take. I wish we could go more with this, and then nothing happened.
You mean the bad guy winning?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just the guy crawling out of the water like. Oh yeah, you're gonna be my new brother now, and then just drags you away. It's like, oh, cool.
yeah, like I think everyone thought that that was going to literally start a new like continued storyline trilogy, which we haven't really seen. I know the Modern Warfare trilogy that just came, the reboot, did have like a trilogy, but like it didn't feel very connected. Um,
Right.
each piece feels very segmented versus if you look at like COD 4, MW2, MW3, there's a fairly logical progression there, even though it wasn't planned to be a trilogy at the start with COD 4. Um,
hmm
it still made it work. You know, they retconned in Makarov, who again I will always say best COD villain, hands down. I love OG Makarov so much because he's got little man syndrome and he's a tactical psychopath. Like, and then the new ones don't have that. It's just I don't know. They're just not as good. I will say, to play devil's advocate here because I believe I'm the only one here and probably the only one including our audience, that finished the Vanguard campaign. That campaign has the best final mission in any one of the best final missions in any COD campaign of all time, hands down. Because it's doing the final mission is the Battle of Berlin, and you have your team that you've been playing with. You know, throughout different chapters, you talk with. You have the Soviet sniper, who's played by Laura Bailey, and I forget the character's name. So she's there. So you played with her in like Stalingrad. You move around the conflict a lot, and then the final battle, they've been in prison basically this whole time, and they break out. and you complete little segments with each person, and then like you get like a super cool like cinematic camera shot where it like sweeps under some rubble or whatever, and it picks up to like it goes up to a balcony where the sniper lady's taking out more Germans. You take them out as her, then it moves. It literally feels like you're playing a movie, and in all the best ways. Which that's what COD is. You know, at the end of the day, it's just action stunt coaster kind of thing. You know, movie on rails, but it's very good.
I might have to give it a try one of these times when my backlog is definitely trimmed down a lot.
Yeah, your 70 games that you have on deck right now.
Well, here's
Yes.
the thing with you. You keep buying new games, and you're like, man, such a shame that I haven't been able to complete these other ones first.
Right. I gotta support the devs.
Now's the right time to go do it, considering like I don't think anything's coming out really in like the next 3 months, right?
College football is, but I don't think you're a college football fan, Jarrett. Or at least game.
Unless it's like really fun multiplayer and we can do something with it, but I don't
tell you-
foresee that.
I'm gonna tell you what, if you ever played a football multiplayer game,
Like
it's all the same. You've played them all, just with updated moves, rosters, and maybe some new mechanics. Pretty much the same as COD, actually, and like FPS shooters. So you've played one, you've pretty much played all. But I still think it's going to be a great game because we haven't had a college game in what, a decade?
Yeah, is it more?
I
Than
believe
that?
it's at least been a long time.
Let me take a gander.
Because I know if I ever buy it, I gotta rep my Gonzaga team because I always wanted them to win the March Madness NCAA tournament, but I always fall short when I
Oh no,
when I predict
you're
them to
right.
win.
It's 2014.
I thought I remembered there was an NCAA 14.
In my head, I was thinking it was like 2012, 2013 was like the absolute last, but it's still like an unforgivable amount of time between those two games, but
Yeah, 10 years is a long time.
for a football game.
Yeah. Well, I think the
Yes.
big part was they didn't. It was going to be hard because they didn't want to pay college players because of some rule. I'm not too familiar on the rules, but I believe that was the reason why.
Yeah, I think that was definitely part.
I definitely know that they rescinded that law to allow the NCAA to pay players. So I think that's part of the reason why we're getting a game.
Aren't able to profit off their image. That's the ruling.
Correct. And I know a lot of people are going to be excited about this.
Should be fun. I mean, I was never like a big Madden guy. I was always definitely more an NCAA fan. But I haven't played any sport game, at least not a new one, in I don't even know how long. So it'll be a fun little change of pace.
Yep, I think the only football game I really played was I know it was like 2007, and I can't remember if it was NCAA or Madden.
It was actually FIFA. You were thinking of football.
No.
You played football on Party Animals, though.
He's got a point.
Oh, man. I wish we could get, like, new maps for Party Animals in general, but for their, like, objective game modes, I wish we could get some new maps for that.
They need to do crossovers. They need to have like a Mustafar map where you're fighting over a lava pit.
Yeah, I'm sure Disney would go right for that, you know.
They had a panda for the longest time. I thought they were doing a crossover of, like, Kung Fu Panda.
It looked right. It had the like traditionalist hat and everything. It has the hat that he wears in the opening, like envisioning of himself in the first movie when he thinks he's friends with the Furious Five in his dream, and then his dad's like, "You're late for work."
And he's playing with those action figures,
Yeah.
and, like, his neighbors just look at him. He's just like, oh.
Hey,
Mhm.
those movies are so good. Like, I haven't seen the fourth one, and I heard nothing but bad things about it. But like, at its worst, the main trilogy, like 3 for me is my least favorite, and even it is an okay movie. It's just not great compared to like 2 or 1.
Mhm.
Kung Fu Panda 2 is goated. As much as Tai Lung goes hard in the first movie, I really like 2.
If there's one thing DreamWorks can do, it's make a good villain.
Yeah, that's typically the only thing they do well.
Right. You have Death from Puss in Boots movie.
hmm
You have from the How to Train Your Dragon. You have the Red Death. You have Draco. No,
What's the like dragon hunter from 3?
that's
Mm,
The blonde guy. Or no. Yeah. He's blonde, I think. I don't remember.
yeah, I
It's
can't
been a minute.
remember.
Grimmel. His name is Grimmel. Grimmel the Grizzly, and Drago Bloodfist is the guy from 2. Yeah, they got some pretty good villains, both
Yeah.
in all their series.
You got like the manipulation stuff from the best Shrek movie, Shrek 2, with Fairy Godmother, where she's kind of pulling the strings, stuff like that. Like, cool villain, like not, I don't want to say unorthodox, but not your standard fare for a DreamWorks villain.
Right. They put everything on its head. Oh, the fairy godmother and the Prince Charming are the evil people. I see.
And 2 is awesome, in every sense of the word. I think Shrek 2 might be one of the like that small list of movies that I go, these are perfect movies. Shrek 2's on that list somehow, even though it shouldn't be. It has no right to be, but it is.
It'd be even better if it would have been Chris Farley from those early tracks voicing Shrek.
No.
Definitely wouldn't have made it any less iconic at all.
Next question. No. As soon as I found out about that, I was like, "What the hell were you thinking?" I like Chris Farley, but that voice just.
Mike Myers definitely did. He definitely fit the role a lot better.
And then when they changed the visuals of Shrek itself, also definitely helped because their original concept art, which obviously concept art to final product always there's a difference, but like it was a very different, ugly thing than the ogre we got. He looked like he was, take Shrek now, put him on meth, and then have him fuse with, if anyone's familiar with Wembley from Smiling Friends, just coked out tweaker. That's what he looks like, and I'm like, dude, who came up with it for a children's movie? Who did that?
It would have turned into a horror movie, like kind of like how I remember. Oh, that movie is just a straight up horror movie. I don't care what anybody says. Monster House.
Yeah. No, it is.
It would have been up there with that.
It's a kid's horror, like Goosebumps is children horror, It's the same idea. It's spooky, even though the old man's not really evil. It's his big fat wife in the basement. After the kids threw rocks at her or whatever, she fell in and got covered in cement. And I'm like, that was pretty heavy for a kid's movie, actually.
I remember not thinking too much of it at the time, but yeah, that definitely is pretty strong elements in a kids movie.
Yeah, like that. Doesn't he pick her up at she's in a circus? She's a sideshow, and he hooks up his truck to her circus cage and drives away with her, which is also
it's how dating works in Alabama.
If you have a hitch on the back of your vehicle, you'll be all right. You'll never die alone.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. There we go. Cover our bases legally.
If you're gonna make a claim, you gotta at least say allegedly. So
everything from here on out, legally standing, is allegedly, unless it is something referring to the internal workings of Odd Horizons, effective immediately. Anything from this point not regarding us is all allegedly. There we go. Now we can't go to jail.
Yay!
That's the episode 18 disclaimer.
For the record, in case any of you wanted to go, thinking that what we said about Activision, how they are a little hands-on, if you catch my drift, anything about Diddy or Drake, it's all alleged, so it's okay. But yeah, no, Monster House is it's definitely in that era where like Harmon made the comment about the animation. It absolutely if the animation wasn't that style, I don't think it would be as creepy. And I don't even think it's in an artistic sense. It's just the technology of the time and the budget that they had made them all look creepy. Except for Kevin James Cop.
I'm gonna have heard you now. Oh, I'm wrestling a bear claw. Oh,
I was gonna say, I know he's making some comment about wrestling with a bear claw on the side of the road or whatever. I'm like, Kevin James, you are a one-trick pony. You know that.
He tries his hardest.
I guess they got 2 of the Sandler crew in that movie because the old guy, Mr. Whatever, is played by Steve Buscemi. Pretty sure. So I'm like, oh, maybe if you look closely, we'll find out that the fat kid, which is his name, Chowder, Chumsley,
That's
Chumboy.
A good question.
I want to say it's something chilly. It's something offensive because he's fat. They're like, oh, name him after food. It's like, yeah, he's Chowder. I'm pretty sure that's his name. It's like, oh, that's actually played by Adam Sandler. It was an uncredited performance.
If the old wife would have been if Chris Farley would have been around, he could have played the Monster House.
The whole house.
How would he have done that, Jarrett? It's not like it was a live action movie.
You just heard him up and get off my damn lawn.
So you want him to be Clint Eastwood in
What would be just like the regular show episode where Rigby turns into a house and it's only Chris Farley's head at like the top eave of the house, and like he's just sitting there screeching at people.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember that episode, but I feel like that's a lot of the regular show episodes, other than like the iconic ones, because every episode was
It was
so weird.
It was a Halloween special.
yeah. It was like everybody was trying to protect Rigby because Rigby egged the house, and then Muscle Man gets dragged off into the woods while shooting a shotgun.
Oh, that's where that comes from. Okay,
And then
Yeah.
High Five's ghost gets sucked in through the phone.
that rings a bell, kind of. I've been meaning to go back and rewatch that, but it's like, oh, it's only on Max. It's like the one streaming service that I don't really believe in paying for because 9 times out of 10, there's nothing to watch on there.
I feel like it's mainly just like made up of movies and stuff that the other streaming services don't have.
It's like, remember this movie you've already seen?
That could be literally any streaming service, Jarrett.
No, he's got a point though. Like, in terms of proprietary stuff, not a lot.
Like they have Harry Potter. I don't think any other place has Harry Potter. They got Game of
mm,
Thrones stuff playing. Well, I guess really anything HBO is gonna probably be exclusively on there, unless you're renting it or something from like Prime.
also, it's kind of hard to like draw those lines in the sand right now because Warner Brothers went through that whole thing where they were like almost out of money because they keep making bad decisions. So like half of their stuff was streaming other places. Like Dune 1 is or was on Disney Plus through Hulu. And I think Harry Potter might be on like Paramount or Peacock, one of the two. I feel like I saw those when I was flipping through
Okay.
other services that I'm like, I don't really think you're worth it. I keep it just in case I'll watch maybe one thing a month on each of those. And then I'm like, okay, back in the pile you go. I also just don't watch, a lot of stuff anymore. I feel like 99% of my time, if I'm watching something, it's YouTube. And then the other 1% of the time I'm on Crunchyroll. Like,
Valid. Yeah.
because like, I'm trying to think, what was like the last like big like show that was running other than like Fallout, which all got dumped one day. Because like I feel like I haven't tuned in to anything.
Yeah, like I appreciate it when they do that because then you can just sit there and binge it and no life it and forget about your responsibilities.
Right.
And then you get
Uh,
the other side of the spectrum, like Invincible, like we're gonna wait 2 years and then we're gonna only release 4 episodes, and then you gotta wait 4 months for the next four.
And then like the point it leaves off isn't even like that big of a deal for me, at least. Like I'm gonna spoil Invincible here, but it's been done for like a long time. The comic books, graphic novel, whatever's been done for ages. The stuff I'm talking about's been out for months. But the whole thing where it's like the ending of that is just Angstrom Levy, who is like I think supposed to be like Mark's nemesis. I don't think he is good enough of a character to be a nemesis. I don't know if that's part of the joke that he's just like not worth his time. There's that, and then it's just the relationship shakeup finally, which admittedly does kind of suck because they did finally try to make Amber a sensible character in season 2 versus season 1. She's a legit sociopath.
Oh, I know you're Invincible, but I still don't care.
I'm mad at you for leaving. I'm sorry I've been leaving our dates and canceling on you. Here's the secret. I am invincible. And she goes, I know. And I'm like, you can promptly fuck yourself. That is so dumb. What do you mean you know he's a superhero and you're mad that he canceled on getting bagels with you? He saved like 150 people this morning. What have you done? Irritates the hell out. Again, season 2, they did make her a lot better. I don't know what they were I don't know if that's like ripped straight from the comics, if they added that stuff in. I don't know. Didn't read Invincible. Tempted to because at this rate the show's not going to wrap for another 15 years. That shit was fucking frustrating to watch. I guess what games has everyone been playing lately? I didn't ask that this time.
I started playing Stray, and then I got to a part because I'm doing obviously 100% run. I want
Naturally.
the trophies and stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, there's one run. I have to do like my long collectible run, and then I gotta beat the game in under 2 hours. And I got to this trophy where it's already a pain in the ass, and it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna devolve a lot of time into this because I got other stuff to do. So I kind of put that on the back burner,
Mhm.
and I've been playing Fallout 76 and XDefiant and DBD recently, of which 2 of those 3 games make me absolutely miserable.
But one of those two you asked to play like religiously.
I know. I have that. I feel like I subconsciously like the pain. Like,
Yeah.
please, it can change. It's gonna change. They're gonna change.
Yeah, you're in an abusive relationship. That's what that
Yeah,
is.
Here,
exactly.
literally 3 weeks ago, anytime he gets on Siege, rank Siege,
No.
yeah, that
This
was
game
you.
this game sucks.
No, it
Which
does. It is absolutely abhorrent. No, I can't. Like, it's just so unbearable to play.
it's glitchy. We can't handle the anti-cheat situation and generally causes strife between our group, so I'm all for not playing it.
Oh, hey, we're gonna put you into matches, but hey, we don't actually rank your skill, but we actually do, and you have something called hidden MMR. And no matter how much better you do on by seeing the rank you have improve, you're still going to be in the hidden MMR category. And if you lose, you're going to get booted all the way back down to that, even if you're on like a 5 game win streak.
I would rather, in that instance, I'm gonna go on like a very slight siege tangent, but then I want to go back to the what games people are playing. The question, but if Siege would just do a simple thing where like for each rank from like in talking like Copper 5 to Copper 1, each rank of each rank, if that makes sense, has a number
Hmm.
associated with it. And it goes up as you scale it to like champ.
Right.
If then you took a team consensus and like averaged it out and you got like an average team skill score and that's what it used to matchmake you, I feel like you'd have better time. And I'd rather wait for matchmaking. I'd rather queues take twice as long and get into actual games than games where it feels like my randoms are all in copper or unranked, where
Hmm.
that hellhole where it used to be. Um, than the games where like always the enemy team feels like it's just diamonds and emeralds that are absurd at the game.
Yep.
They've definitely dedicated way more time than I have. They have more skill than I do, whatever. And it's like that feels miserable. I would have rather played in a game where, I play with, based off my rank, I should be playing with like mid plats. And I'd be fine with that.
Yep.
What? No.
No, you must be miserable when playing our game. Haha.
But anyway, Harmon, what about you? What have you been playing besides X Defiant, 76, and the usual fare?
You got me. There hasn't really been a variation. I guess Elden Ring still.
Yeah.
Trying to keep my skills sharp for the DLC that drops here soon.
Yeah,
Although I haven't
June 20th.
22nd, I believe, but
I knew
very
somewhere on there.
close. But like, I don't want to stop playing the game because what from my Earth DLC is harder or on par with one of the bosses in the game. That's a pain in the ass, and so yeah,
Mm.
pretty much. And I don't want to just stop playing and have to try to get my timing down with stuff. Or it's just not going to matter because I'm just going to get bullied in the DLC.
Probably. I mean, because yeah, I'm pretty sure the excerpt or the quote, whatever it was that said the thing about the difficulty of a certain boss in this DLC stated that it is going to be harder than Melania. So if you
Hey.
struggled with that boss, it's probably going to be fairly difficult. I mean, obviously there can be a lot of different mechanics that make a boss hard. Um, I doubt that there's like huge shakeups. Typically, all Soulsborne bosses are in the same types of bosses. They don't really like heal a whole lot. That's kind of like a rare and like frowned upon thing. They'll just come back with a second health bar and shit on your day instead of healing
Yep.
themselves. They actually want to be hurt so that way they can evolve into their final form. But yeah, I'm curious to see how that fight plays compared to because Melinia's whole thing was just the speed and elegant strikes and all that, and it was very dance orient. I mean, it was very rhythmic, more than I think most other boss fights were because of the amount of attacks she was throwing at you.
Right.
And the fact that she healed every time you got hit,
Yeah,
too.
with the flower or whatever.
No, it didn't even that. It was just basic attacks. Any attack she hit, she healed.
I can't believe people use the fucking mimic tier for that because for me, if I tried that strat one time and then she just
Like,
healed off with the mimic, and it's just like, oh well, that's worthless. I'm not gonna do that strat again.
I used him as cannon fodder. So I could channel my god magic from behind. Oh, playing a prophet. What a wonderful decision that was. Actually, in the playtest, we found that like subsect of stuff to be oh, a little too strong, so we nerfed it to Oblivion. I didn't know there was a playtest. If I knew that, I wouldn't have picked that one.
Skippy
Like,
having Melania basically beat
oh,
because one guy was carrying through that fight that he summoned, and then him not paying attention, and Melania just turned her focus to him.
and he still has 100% that game as much as he wants to argue that he has. He hasn't.
He hasn't? I thought he did.
No, he's killed Molina. He's killed like he beat the game and he killed her. I think he might have killed all the achievement bosses, but like he didn't pick up all the legendary sorceries, armaments, all that stuff.
I know there's one thing that becomes inaccessible once you go
Yes.
to the or it's either after I think it's after the tree burns, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's up on the statue or whatever, the dragon, there's the lightning halberd or whatever. And if once the tree burns and the ash it becomes the Ashen Capital, you can't get there. That was the only armament that I was missing in my playthrough, and I was so confused why I didn't have that achievement. And then I was looking through a guide, and it was like, "You might have missed this one." Like, no shit, I missed that one. It's all the way up there. Like, what are you talking about? And then legendary sorceries, I had to pull up a guide because a lot of those are fairly arbitrary, and then also I didn't go out of my way looking for anything like that because I didn't use them. So I just had a guide up and walked around like, oh, and then behind this wall, it's like, aha, the old invisible wall
At least there
trick.
wasn't something. At least there wasn't something like you have to hit this wall 1,000 times and then it reveals this chest.
There is that whole thing where Miyazaki said there is still one secret that apparently no one has found, and so he's challenged them to go find it before the DLC drops. I don't even know what that could be, because odds are it probably is, well, if you hit this wall 10,000 times, behind it there is the Philosopher's Stone or some shit, and then you fucking law of equal exchange, and no, like it has to be something just completely buttfuck random. There's no way it's something that makes sense or it would have been found by now, considering the amount of players that were scouring the lands between when it came out.
It's probably a secret shrine to Miyazaki. Like it's just a picture of him just sitting there like hello.
It's the picture that hangs up in Volcano Manor, but it's just him.
Yes, exactly.
That is just you hit it and you open up a wall in a cave, and it's just a picture of his like spread ass cheeks looking at you. He's like, "That's what I think of you."
Man, you really found this secret? What a loser.
Like yeah, like what could it be? Like and like here's the thing: even if we did find it, does it matter now? Does it do anything for regular players, speedrunners, lore enthusiasts? Like it can't be anything substantial by now. I will die on that hill.
Valid.
Like it's like when the COD Zombies community is like, oh, we solved this cipher or whatever from like World at War, and it's like that definitely already came to pass. Like how if you look at like the character bios on World at War, if you take all the capital letters from each of their things and spell it out, it says like the Doctor is evil, don't trust him. And we found that out after Black Ops 4, meaning we were 3 games removed from the fact that Richtofen was going to switch bodies with a child to blow up the Earth. Or not blow up to blow up the Earth, but he switched bodies with a child to control the zombies, and then we blew up the Earth to stop it, which didn't work. So it's like that doesn't matter, and I feel like this is in the same vein. It's like Elden Ring's been out for 2 years. It doesn't. There's no way it's something like like a true hidden boss or something. Like it would have been data mined, you know.
Right.
It's just Patch's boss fight part 2.
I can see it.
If you hit Melania's flower like 10,000 times, she respawns, and then you start the boss fight all over again.
But she starts in phase 2 and then unlocks phase 3 where she has a gun.
She
I
goes
wish
to
there was a
Super
way
Saiyan
you could
3.
refight bosses without
Yes.
New Game Plus.
I wish there was either like an arena you would go to and you could like pick a boss, get a random boss, or just activate something outside of their arena and it would reactivate the fog gate and all that. Because I would love to just fight Radon over and over again. Even if it didn't give runes, I don't care. Like,
It gives you like half the runes
yeah.
that you got for beating it originally.
For every day that Skippy can't get the final achievements for Elden Ring, he'd be forced to replay Malekith over and over again.
I thought I was literally listening to a man go insane when he was in that boss fight. And I was like, oh, he actually wasn't that bad for me. And Skippy's like, I've died 500 times.
Once I
Dog.
beat him the first time, he wasn't. I never had an issue with him after beating him the first time.
Yeah, like that's literally the one point in the game where I went, my build's actually incredible. And then I immediately got my ass beat again. but like pretty much right after that, I was like, all right, back to the
I am the
slums.
Mandarin. Bashed, right? You got Spartan kicked right into the sewer.
Oh, that the trauma that went from beating Malekith and going like, yeah, I'm on top of the world, and I'm like, Horalu, who are you? Getting tossed into the air and then karate kicked out of the arena, and I'm like, all right,
I had more trouble with Malekith than Horalu. Oddly enough, that might have
don't
been
brag.
just my build. I don't.
I kind of hope in the DLC, because we did see that we were gonna get some like martial arts. I hope there's something similar to like Huralu. We can actually have like a build of Huralu,
What, you want to DDT
I
people?
hope we can.
kinda.
I hope we can go Ultra
Barrett, you keep cutting yourself off.
That's just dodging and not getting hit.
Ultra Instinct / Super Saiyan 4. But the trade off is if a boss hits you during your power up phase, you just get absolutely deleted.
It's no different than any other time they hit you, but yeah,
Yes.
they're never like, ooh, this is gonna tickle. It's like, I'm going to send you packing. Gone. Which, like,
Pretty
what do we think
much.
the like martial arts stuff's gonna be like? Do you think it's gonna be like a new subsect of like technically like magic, quote unquote?
I think it's gonna be a new attribute.
I thought they already released martial arts and stuff. Unless they're. I thought. Maybe that was a part of the DLC trailer.
Yeah, it was in the first
I
teaser for
thought.
Shadow of the Erdtree. It had the
Gotcha.
shots of him doing like flip tricks and shit. I just maybe it's something just like you can find these things that are like I like when I say like spells like that slot and it's like if you have endurance, so if you make a character that's just a shit ton of endurance, you can just throw hands all the time or something. But it looks cool. I mean, if it's cool enough, I might make a new character and play through the entire base game using it, assuming we can. I don't know why we wouldn't be able to, but obviously we don't know anything yet, so
Nope.
for all we
And
know
I'm
we learned kung fu as part of the DLC.
No, and I'm pretty sure for our luck, as soon as we wrap up recording, we'll get the reveal trailer. Like
Yeah.
full reveal trailer. We'll have to wait till next week to talk about it.
I don't think we're even gonna get one because like it took them that long to even announce it, and then to follow it up with anything, and then we've gotten another trailer somewhat recently just talking about the storyline. I almost doubt we even get a gameplay thing, or it's like a snippet that you'll see as like a YouTube ad because they probably don't want to play all their cards here and kind of leave it up to the kind of the air of mystery. Because like, here's the thing: they know they don't really have to market it because it's one of the biggest games. Like, yeah, it's either for the challenge, the novelty, the enjoyment. It's going to be purchased.
Especially with the streamer Kai Cenat like doing
Mhm.
a playthrough. Like he is like one of the most popular Twitch streamers.
Yeah,
I don't watch him personally. I did tune in a couple times during his Elden Ring,
same.
and as much as he did die a lot, he doesn't play those games. Like he's not like a From Software player. He
Same.
got it, wanted to do a stream until he beat it. It may have took him forever, but my God, he did it.
Which I know he doesn't play those games, but also to be fair, I don't know exactly what games he does play normally. Like I see clips of him, but I never see clips of what he's playing. So
I
I
feel
don't
like
really know what he calls home.
I feel like he's not really a gaming streamer. I
Is
feel
it
like
just like
he's
a
more of
reacts?
reacts and like just talking.
Hmm. Well, that's cool.
Like he'll invite people. Like recently, he had Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Bro broke like almost like 300K live viewers. I don't think we've seen that before.
Yeah. Kevin Hart called T-Pain a bitch during it, which was funny.
Kevin Hart though.
He was like, "Oh, T-Pain donated 50 subs." It's like, "Oh man, fuck you." He's like, "No, it's a good thing." "Oh, okay, thanks, man." And some other random guy donated 100 subs, and he's like, "Man, T-Pain, how's this random guy gonna out donate you? What are you, a bitch or something like that?" And I thought it was so funny because T-Pain's also all over the Twitch game stuff too, which I think is cool.
And there's Snoop Dogg that left his stream going for like in a solid.
Jarrett, we're gonna have a little TED Talk video, and it will be uploaded to Odd Horizons, where we learn to teach you how a microphone works, and you need to stop muting yourself.
God dang. I'm trying to write out some things too. I didn't want my pen to be on the mic or whatever.
I
But
don't think that's gonna get picked up unless you're like frantically scribbling like a psychopath on a wall.
I'm
Really
scribbling
hard.
like Light does in the Death Note.
Yeah.
Anyways, Continue what you were saying.
I was saying like there's also like Snoop Dogg that left his stream going like a full 24 hours or something. Then he comes back. He's like, "Oh shit, I left you guys on here. What the heck?"
And I'm pretty sure he just went back and just picked up and played like from that point, or like hung out, whatever. Like nothing even happened. He's just like, oh shit, my bad. Anyway,
He has in some off room in his like mansion that he just doesn't go to.
he's like, I hardly ever go to the West Wing. Like, I always stay in the East Wing.
But with that, I think we are gonna wrap it up here. This has been episode 18 of the Split Screen Experience. And we actually brought movies in today. We didn't just talk about video games today.
We do it all.
We talk about including all forms of media, but we tend to just talk about video games. So you guys got a different treat today.
Yeah.
But as always, I'm Harmon, joined alongside
Andrew.
with our special guest / permanent resident,
Other co-host.
Jarrett or J Money for those beyond the veil.
Jarrett. Thanks for being a part of this again. Catch you next week.